Hi, my name is Carrie Elaine and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my experience at the Gogh Museum of Art. I went to this exhibition in about 3 or so weeks ago before this entire virus and everything was going on, and I thought I would share this video with you guys. I also wanted to pop in to say that I found a bunch of online museums that you can check out, so I'm going to link those below. But it's pretty cool. I took the time to scroll through a couple, and like the Van Gogh Museum is one that you can check out, and I believe that's in Amsterdam. There's a couple others like the Met in New York, which is a phenomenal resource. So if you guys are bored or antsy, which I'm sure you are, these are a couple things you can check out and enjoy. So let's get into the video. At the Gogh Museum of Art, also known as Chastain Park on The Resident. Let me give you a little outfit of the day. So my new mage bag, as well as thank you.
All this detail. How many different colors and brush strokes make up this beautiful painting.
I was so excited because I had heard so much about him being one of the first menswear designers for Louis Vuitton, which is phenomenal. I knew he had the Off-White brand. I knew he was friends with Kanye, / they were kind of like mentor, collaborating and all that. One of his first lines was called Pyrex 23. And why he named it Pyrex 23 is because in his mind, when you're from Chicago, you have two choices. Either you become a sportsman, like basketball, football, like Michael Jordan did, number 23 for the Chicago Bulls, or you cook crack in a Pyrex container, which is often known as a certain type of baking ware that people use to make drugs. When I read that quote, I was stunned to think, wow, the only two options you have is either drugs or sports to get out of a poor situation, which is sadly realistic for a lot of people in America. And I really appreciate him creating a line and kind of bringing that to the forefront. When you go through this exhibition, I don't remember if I have footage of it, but there was this entire video when you first walked in on the wall, and it said, wouldn't say anything, it was silent, but it was like 5 or so boys in black hoodies, and they were taking turns like standing and sitting, and they all had the number 23 on the back and said Pyrex. And at first I was like, okay, is it a team? And I want to say I found an article that basically said he did that on purpose because he wanted to basically show like a team without them being able to play on a team. It was kind of like an ironic thing, and if you know, he's known for being ironic. His entire IKEA line was like a rug that was a receipt that you could put on the floor, a mat that would say like wipe your feet, because obviously you wipe your feet. He designed Hailey Bieber's wedding dress, and he literally put wedding dress on it because it's a wedding dress. So he's very good about being very witty and ironic, which I think is pretty amazing. One fact I found about him that I loved is he's notorious for something called cheat codes. And basically he said he has the 3% approach. He likes to take an idea, one that might have, been created, and only change it from the original state by 3%. Now, the main thing we always say is don't reinvent the wheel, because you can't beat it. It's efficient, it works, so just enhance it. The fact that he came up with a 3% approach I think is brilliant, and it shows people that you can make something innovative and fascinating, and it doesn't take a lot. You just have to do a tiny bit, put your own flavor on it, and you can do amazing things. He also said he wanted to do something crazy, and so he branded paper clips, which in the exhibition there was an entire case of all these paper clips that were made of like silver and gold and had diamonds in them. And he's like, haha, like I've, literally rebranded paper clips. And I'm like, who thinks like that? Like, think about when you're in middle school, everyone was like taking paper clips and making bracelets with them and stuff. And here he literally has made this a fashion statement through streetwear, which is so innovative, so cool, and so ahead of his time. He hates when people box him in. And by that I mean, I'm going to read you a paragraph I found from, I want to believe, The New Yorker, a really great article I found, and said that, to me, that the tendency is to assume that people are in a competition with one another is one of the many pitfalls of human nature. He said that it's an impulse to diminish someone by categorizing them or putting them in a box. Speaking about this, he became very animated, like, categorizing things for what? He said, like, one of the jokes people would tell me is like, oh, Virgil the Virgin? And I never understood. Imagine me as a kid and people are like, oh, Virgil the Virgin. It didn't make sense to me. Like, what gratification do you get from putting something in a box? One of the main things I said in my last video, which I'll put in the title cards up here right now, was that I always find it frustrating that people want to basically judge each other for how they dress, or even just how people act or move through life. Like, what do you gain from that? What do you gain by putting someone down? And it's the same thing he's saying. Like, what do you get by putting someone in a box? While I get that categories help us process and understand, I also get what he means by saying, like, is it so you can basically judge someone socioeconomically? Like, does that help you evaluate how you move through life? Is that going to change how you treat the person? Like, why don't we just all treat each other with respect and call it a day? Ladder. And it was flat to the ground. And I remember my friend saying, like, why is there a ladder on the ground? And I said to her, it probably has to do with the fact that you spend so much time climbing this ladder to success, thinking that I'm just going to keep climbing and I'm going to get to the top and then everything's going to be smooth sailing. I can just, like, look out at the view. When in reality, it's like, the ladder doesn't exist, you know? Like, you could keep climbing and climbing and climbing and you still aren't going to get what you're looking for. So I feel like he was alluding to that, pretty much. The other thing I noticed was he had a Louis Vuitton bag that was chained to the ground. And personally, I thought that was in reference to, like, reaching this huge accomplishment where he's literally not just, like, a man who is now running Louis Vuitton, but one of the first black men. And the pressure he must have felt of, like, this is such a great opportunity, but if I mess this up, it's not that a man is messing this up. It's, oh, look, the first black man is messing this up. So I think it was almost that chain of feeling proud that you're doing something and you're accomplishing something great, but being afraid that it's going to hold you back, that you're not going to fully accomplish the goal. I think it's the chains represent feeling like you're so excited to get such a great opportunity, but you don't feel like you're representing just you. You almost feel like you're representing an entire culture, and that's not necessarily fair to put that kind of pressure on someone. You just kind of want to move through life being you and being proud and accomplishing your goals. And I think he kind of felt like, wow, like, I have this great opportunity, but if I make a mistake, it's gonna, like, hold me back and hold back other people from getting this opportunity. Which obviously he's successful, so he didn't. And I mean, look, Rihanna got to join LMVH just like he did and be the first black female, which is phenomenal to be a part of a huge fashion house like that. So I'm personally really proud of him and impressed. He considers himself an artist. Like, he's got a degree in architecture. He likes to go between architecture, design, fashion. Like, he never fully sticks with one medium. He's even done graffiti. So he's definitely the perfect person for streetwear because he knows a little bit of everything about that life. He used to skateboard, and he's not afraid to help other people. Like, he mentors people that don't have experience in this because he always thought that, you know, when I get an opportunity, I want to give back and I want to do the same for others. And I think that's beautiful, and that so many other people don't do that nowadays. That's completely refreshing. He's big into helping out musicians and other artists and even other designers because in his mind, he wants to give people he calls cheat codes because he's like, if I could have gotten a leg up, which he did, I want to pay it forward. And I think that's beautiful to actually help out other people instead of saying, you know what, lobster and pot mentality, like, I climbed out, you guys are on your own. Like, no, instead he's like, let me reach down and help you because someone helped me and that's the least I can do to pay it forward. Just beautiful. There's so many people that have been interviewed throughout about him, and they've had nothing but nice things to say. He's very quick to say, like, do you need help with something? He never leaves someone outside looking in. He's always someone trying to be more innovative and ahead of time, and I really appreciate that. So overall, I thought this was a really cool exhibition, and it was cool to see all his work from various years and just how witty and ironic he is, and the fact that he's like transcended time by being so innovative with streetwear, something that people used to look down upon. It used to only be about luxury, being very stiff and tailored and or very avant-garde. There was no in between. Now streetwear is like a huge thing, and it's pretty amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please join me on my next one as I check out other exhibits, and I'll see you next time.